Good morning and welcome to Northampton Methodist Church Worship at Home for November the 6th. I wonder if your heart sinks when someone in a group starts a conversation with the words, "You're religious, you go to church, what do you think about?" and then mentions something that's happening in the world or round and about us. Are we supposed to have all the answers? And how do we answer? Do we please the people asking us the question, or do we give the answer that will please God? Sometimes it can be scary to stand up and be counted. There's lots of issues in our world today, issues that maybe we should be getting involved with, whether we're political animals or not. We are in the world, and we should be trying to make a difference. And that doesn't happen if we all remain silent. Jesus answered questions that ordinary people were asking, and he answered in a way that they could understand. I wonder what he would say today about some of the issues around. What would he be saying about divorce and about fair trade, about same-sex marriage, about our multi-faith, multicultural society? About us being a post-Christian society? I wonder, do you have answers ready if you're asked any of those things? The Sadducees asked Jesus a question about a woman who'd been married 7 times. They wanted to know what would happen after her death. Who would her husband be then? It was obviously a trick question to trap Jesus into saying something that could be held against him. The Sadducees and the Pharisees very often worked together to try to discredit Jesus and to stop people listening to him. Those two groups were actually miles apart in their beliefs. The Pharisees are an entirely religious group, set on carrying out their ceremonial law. They had added thousands of regulations on top of all the things that had been written down by Moses and the prophets. The Pharisees believed in resurrection from the dead, and in angels and spirits, and they believed in fate and that God had a plan for us. They also believed and hoped for the coming of the Messiah. On the other hand, the Sadducees, few in number, but all very wealthy and often in positions of authority, liked to keep on the right side of Rome. They didn't want to lose their positions. They accepted the law written down by Moses, but they didn't rate any of the other prophets. They didn't believe in resurrection, angels, or spirits. So their question to Jesus about what would happen after they were raised from the dead was obviously just a trap to make him say something that was going to be considered wrong. So we have the Sadducees on one side, the Pharisees on the other, and most ordinary people in the middle. As usual, Jesus gave a good answer. The woman had done nothing wrong according to the law. She had acted just as the law of Moses said, because he said if a man died childless, then his brother should marry the widow. This was binding according to the Sadducees. They didn't believe in resurrection. Obviously just a trap. Jesus pointed out that heaven is not just a continuation of life on earth. We mustn't think of heaven in terms of this earth. Life there will be quite different. None of us knows what heaven will be like, and it would save us an awful lot of worry if we stopped speculating about it and just trusted in the love of God. And Jesus said that Moses, who don't forget the Sadducees believed in, had said at the burning bush that God is the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And as God is the God of the living and not the dead, they must all be alive, and therefore there must be resurrection. Even the scribes who were standing around at that time thought that Jesus had given a good answer. Jesus met their questions and answered them in a way that everyone could understand. He faced their issue with confidence. Today, with all the issues that surround us, people often look at Christians to see how they're responding to what's happening. And we never know when we will be challenged to say what we think. And at that time, we have to be like Jesus. He didn't shy away. He spoke out to change people and events. It may be easier to go with the flow rather than speak out. But remember, ships may be safe in the harbour, but that's not what they're intended for. We can hide away and be safe, but that's not what God intends for us either. He wants us to be in the world, changing people and changing events. And if it makes life a bit stormy, we just have to remember that we are anchored to God's love, and He will not let us be overwhelmed. We will be safe because He will give us the right words to say as we speak. So let's be prepared. Let's think about what we would say, and let's have our answers ready to stand up for our beliefs and to try to change some of the bad issues in our world. Amen.